This story opens with a boy falling from a tree named Satu. He saw a miracle, was excited and saw a little girl with her grandpa named Haim. They both introduced themselves and became friends. 10 years passed and Haim woke him up. She served him breakfast and they sat together. It's been 10 years since they were friends, her parents were not around, and she was living with her grandpa. Our man with naughty eyes was peeking into Haim's shirt. He got a shock and Haim called herself a princess like usual, but suddenly she came closer and ate the rice from his cheek. The solid man got an attack of blush. They said goodbye to Haim's grandpa and went to the school. While going, Sata remembered that in childhood Haim told him about her rings and asked to get married in future, but now Haim told him that he would never get that. The usual ending of childhood promises. In school, Haim started talking with her friends and Sata was with his friends. One of them was angry with him because Sata was with Haim, and he was single. Sata saw a message from Haim about going out and was nervous for some reason. After school he went to meet her, and she was wearing a beautiful traditional dress. He was breathless and confessed it out of his excitement. They walked a little and she asked him if he remembered their childhood memory that they were lost one time and they held each other hands for a long time, and he said yes. Sata was hopeful that something would happen. They started moving and Haim was amazed to see the cute things there. They spent their day as usual, and after the day they were standing, and he tried to confess his love, but a firework started, and he didn't get to say what he was about to say. They started watching it and suddenly she said something. His hopes went up, but she said she was moving soon, and our man's hopes burst. He asked when and she said tomorrow. He was destroyed. They came back and when she was going inside, he tried to ask her if something could change it, but she said no. And she thanked him for everything, and when he tried to confess, she went inside. He started thinking about her because he didn't know anything about her, and suddenly, he saw the same golden light and remembered something. Haim was about to leave, but he stopped her, and she said that she belonged to another world, and she'd get married now, and said goodbye with a heavy heart and left. He wasn't there to see that sad goodbye, so made up his mind and went inside. Haim was getting married to a prince and everyone was staring at him, but he summoned her and suddenly a monster attacked them. The sage, who was Haim's grandpa in the other world, said that this monster was after the life of a princess, and the sage told Haim to give the ring of light to the prince. But she was looking at Satu. She ran to him and kissed him. A beautiful golden light appeared, and they got engaged magically. Suddenly Marmagius threw his sword towards Satu and told him to fight. A golden light turned his sword powerful, and without thinking anything he killed the monster in one blow. Everyone was shocked and he fell unconscious. Haim woke him up and he asked where they were, and she asked if he remembered everything, and he said yes. He got shy and she said she didn't want to get married to an unknown person, so she chose him, and he got a little angry about that. The maids were talking about his bravery and the royalty didn't accept the marriage completely, but Marmagius was happy and satisfied. Sage opened the door and lights came in. A huge gathering was waiting and cheering for them. Sage told him to say something, and he yelled that he returned to save this world, and Haim was also surprised. He was taking a bath and suddenly Haim came in. They got a blush and she said, "Don't look at me." They were together, and she said she dredged him for no reason. But he was happy because they got married, and it was fine because, in the other world, it was summer break now. Yeah, but she had to be there because it was her world and she couldn't leave now. But our man was persistent, and he said he'd stay here to protect her. Haim remembered that he had always liked that. Even since childhood she thanked him, and he looked at her. But she said she chose him just, it wasn't a real marriage, and he told her that he likes her as a dear friend, and this conversation again ended like, "We are just friends." Suddenly the bell rang, and he stood up. Haim saw the big horse and screamed. The Knight of the Abyss attacked, and the guards were holding the gate. They came out and the guard told him to protect them. Haim tried to argue because Sata didn't know how to fight, and Sage told them that the ring was a big deal. They don't have to get tense. He gave him a weapon to fight and told him that the holy light from his ring would always make the weapon able to kill the abyss, and he had to fight. He was hopeful and said that he'd save this world for his girl, and Haim kissed him and called him hubby. The fight started and he killed the monsters to save others. He felt powerful, and the sage told him it was because Haim kissed him because it was a princess's duty to give her manpower for the battle, and Sata came to know about the logic of kissing. Sage also told him that he was there for his support, and suddenly the Knight of the Abyss King attacked them. Sage was shocked to see him, and Satu attacked him, but Sage stopped him, and he got a back attack from the knight. Sage told him to run, and they started running. Monsters were after them and Sage made a wall with his magic. Satu was surprised, but the knight was after them and was about to attack, but Marmagius came and rescued them. They left the palace and were in a carriage. Haim was sad and Marmagius gave him an introduction of himself. Sata thanked him for saving them, and Sage told him that he had to get the other 4 rings, and on asking he came to know that our man had to get married to 4 other princesses to get the rings. But Haim wasn't happy or excited about it. So they went to a hotel and there were only 2 rooms. Haim and Sata decided to share a room and Sage started telling them about the common facts about the Ring King. He told them that when the world was made, the Ring King appeared to kill Abyss. He got 5 rings represents the elements fire, earth, water, light, etc. And he got married to 5 princesses and now the rings are passed from generations to generations and Sata have to get married to all the ring princesses to become enough powerful to kill the Abyss King. In their room, Haim told him that he didn't have to take these things seriously and he got a little pain when she checked it. Sata was seriously injured, and she blamed herself for that and ran away. He went out and met with Marmagius and he praised Sata's will that he chose to leave his world for his love and appreciated him. He told him where Haim was, and Sata reached out to her.
Hime, I'm in love with you.
Knowing what you know now, would you still take me as your bride?
Now they went to their room and what now? They both were shy, and she told him that she was ready. He even tried to get the chance. But no, this wasn't the way things work for a real man. He told her that he had waited for this moment for years and he didn't want to waste their first time just in flow. They'd taken their time to enjoy a couple of things and then they'd make it physically. She kissed him. The next morning Sage asked them if they had good sleep and asked why they hadn't have done anything and they got shy. But it was good for their relationship after all. Marmagius came and gave them outfits and Sage told them that now they'd head to the elf's kingdom to get his second elf wife. But Haim was a little angry. They reached the kingdom Ramka, but to go inside they had to pass the wind wall. Suddenly they saw a wild bear and Sage told them that it wasn't magical, but when Sata tried to go close came to know that it was dangerous. They started running and found a way to save themselves. They met with elves, and they showed them the way. Now they went to the palace and Sata told Haim that she was his only love, and nothing would change this fact. The door opened and they went inside, but Princess Nephrites was hiding behind his chair. She asked them if they had done it already, but they refused. And Nephrites told them that it was dirty for her to share a kiss with a married one and she hid herself and our solid man got frustrated. Suddenly Jade, Nephrites' brother, came and said she was always like that. And he allowed his guards to collect Satu and said it was for safety. He went to meet him in the jail and told him that his sister was very delicate, pure, and innocent and he had to understand that she was only 54, too young to get married. Jade told him that Sata had to wait patiently till 80 and he got frustrated. Jade left and his guard asked him if it was okay. Jade said they were safe and they only had to protect the wind ring for the kingdom's safety. It's been 3 days since he was in jail and suddenly Peridot appeared and asked him why he wanted to get all the rings. Sata told her that he had no wrong means and he only wanted to live in peace with Haim. Peridot found him different and opened a secret room for him. They started moving and they reached the place of the ring. Suddenly they saw a movement and hid themselves. She was Nephrites, and she started praying for her parents and Peridot told Satu that they were her real parents and weren't the statues. Suddenly Nephrites felt their presence and Sata tried to fool her but failed and he had to come out. She fell unconscious and when they heard someone else's coming they took Nephrites along them. Jade got angry when he heard the news of her missing and Sata was with the beauty because Peridot had told him that Nephrites was heartily strong and a little forcefulness would work, and she left them. He was getting vicious thoughts and she woke up and got scared. Jade was also angry and Peridot told him that Nephrites had eloped with her love and Jade got sad about that. But he said it was no matter till the ring was in his parents' hands. Sata had washed their clothes and Nephrites was shy. Satu asked her if he was scary and she said she hadn't gone out to the world in her whole life and she didn't know how to accept other people and that's why humans were scary to her. He talked about his world and she got excited. She asked more about his world and said she believed that he came from a dangerous world but he told her that it was a peaceful place. She asked if there were any elves and she was very close but he said no. She got sad and he said that he had heard she was a shut-in princess and she accepted it but told him that she always wanted to get out and explore the world. She always read the books Jade brought for her. But she was helpless because she couldn't go out of her kingdom out of her fear. She said she couldn't do anything, and he told her that he was also not special. He came here to live with his love Haim. When things would get normal, he might leave and out of her excitement she asked him to take her along with him and he was blushing to see her front view. She covered herself and suddenly they heard Jade's voice. Satu asked her if she wanted to be with him and she promised to do her best. They came out in Jade with everyone was waiting for them. Haim was also there. Jade asked Nephrites to come with him, but she tried to convince him. But he got angry, and she didn't have any other way. She went to him, and Satu was standing silently. Peridot came and said it was her who did it. Jade was also angry with her, and she said she'd taken care of Ring King and Jade left with Nephrites. Satu was with Haim, and she said he made a good connection with Nephrites and Satu came to know that she was jealous. Suddenly Peridot came and introduced herself. Satu asked her about Nephrites' parents, and she started telling them the real story, that Nephrites' mother had an older sister who fell in love with a human form outside the world. the elves started bullying her and the man disappeared because he was really after the ring. The princess got depressed and one day, Sage came and said the ring was very powerful and important for other kingdoms also. The princess left the kingdom by cursing it, that one day the magic of the Rhine would vanish. People started living with fear, and when Neprites' parents got married the fear reached its peak and they decided to protect their kingdom, and they paid a big price for that. But before becoming a statue, Nephrites made a promise to her mother that she'd protect the kingdom and would stay there for her whole life. Nephrites was in her room, and she remembered her mother's last words. Massa is a beautiful kingdom and Marmagius was somewhere because he had some work. Suddenly a girl ran to him and said she was a huge fan of his and kissed him, and they got engaged because she was the water princess, and after her introduction, she started laughing. Sage also accepted that, and he thanked her for the help, but she was quite disrespectful towards other princesses. Saphir told him that now he was her husband and so he had to save this kingdom as a king because the kingdom was in danger. Sluter came and asked Saphir to come with him because he wanted to talk. She introduced her husband, and they started moving. Our man was shocked to see such a huge palace. Nephrites were scared and Saphir told them about the present situation of the kingdom. Because Sluter was there to take over the rule, Saphir was worried. But Granat had some other thoughts and they got angry. When they reach the palace suddenly, they hear a sound and a monster appears. Saphir is shocked, but our brave man fights with it and kills it. Everyone was amazed including Saphir and Sluter, as they realized that fairy tales are not only stories. Now they went to meet her father and he was very disturbed. Vixen was also there and Saphir wasn't very happy to see her. She announced her marriage and the king were frustrated. Vixen took him away. And now they were walking and suddenly Saphira summoned Saphir. They were twins and Marmagius also came. Saphira was sad for Saphir because she got married to our ugly man. Even her wives didn't take his side, but Jaime's true love called him cool, and he felt amazing. Satu was busy with his problems and Marmagius started his love story with Saphira, and she went away because she was also mad at him. Satu was shocked and asked for the fact. Saphir started telling them about the real story of Marmagius and Saphira. She told them that Marmagius's kingdom wanted information from their kingdom, so he came there and tricked Saphira. They were in deep love, but one day he had to go back and Saphira was waiting for his return. He promised to get married to her someday and become the Ring King. But things got changed and Satu was the Ring King. Marmagius had broken the promise with Saphira. Now Marmagius ran to Saphira, and he confessed his love, but she was angry with him. He tried to explain his pain, but she left him. Saphir was telling them about Vixen and her predictions which came true, and that's why she was still there. But Saphir doubted her. She wanted to expose her, and Vixen was planning to kill our Ring King. The attackers tried to attack at night when our man was sleeping with his wives, but Granat protected them, and the assassins disappeared. The next day everyone was informed about the attack and Sage was active for any further attack. Now they went to take a bath and our cuties were enjoying the bath under the sky. Granat was staring at our hero because he was very hot and she got lusty. But Haim got jealous and they started fighting. Nephrites was also in the line, and suddenly Saphir came, and she was also looking vicious. She also tried to seduce him, but he was a man of strong willpower. Everyone started enjoying again and Saphir told him to be attentive for any further attack, and the wives were enjoying the bath. Satu went to Marmagius and they talked that Marmagius didn't want to handle the stress of being Ring King, and the fact was he saw the same feelings in Haim's eyes when he had seen her for the first time. Marmagius also tried to argue with his brother for this kingdom, but he was determined to finish it. He was going, and Vixen came to him and offered him a ring to finish Satu. Marmagius didn't want to do such an immoral thing, but Vixen forced him and handed him a sword which was able to kill the Ring King. Marmagius grabbed it and she left. Marmagius was heavy-hearted and he was going and remembered about the talk with his father. He called him useless. He suddenly saw Saphira, and she was naked. She ran away out of embarrassment, and he was hopeless, disappointed, and the black power of the sword took over his senses. On the other side, Satu was informed about the plan to attack the monsters, and he had to stay at the palace. Haim came to him, and she was shy but kissed him out of lust because she wanted her husband alive. Granat also got lusty, and Nephrites got jealous and kissed him. Saphir was stressed, but Sluter and his army were on their mission and were doing great. Suddenly he was informed about a monster who was about to attack the palace, and Satu also saw it. But Marmagius was about to attack him. Sage informed him and started resisting the monster. The battle started between Marmagius and Satu. Sage told him that he was not in his stable state and Marmagius was attacking like a crazy shit. Satu was stressed, and when he tried to attack it was useless. The rings talked to him and told him to kill Marmagius, but Satu wanted him alive. He was thinking of something different, and Haim and Saphir were also talking about it, and Saphira heard it. They ran to see them, and when Marmagius attacked him, Satu was still. He didn't attack him. Marmagius on his knees asked him to kill him. But our man was familiar with his pure feelings and refused it. Marmagius was also sad, and the ring told him to break the stone, and Satu did it. The monster got out of control because of Vixen. It started attacking and grabbed Saphira. Satu was stressed. Vixen offered Marmagius to get the rings and took Saphira. but he decided to live for himself and asked Saphira to get married. Our hero suddenly killed the monster and Saphira jumped into Marmagia's hands. She was shy out of her embarrassment. Vixen was angry and suddenly she turned into her real form. She was a knight of the Abyss King and Saphir was proud of her husband and kissed him. She suddenly turned into a water monster, and she finished the monster of Vixen and she escaped. Satu was shocked and when Saphir transformed she was naked. Marmagius also thanked him, and they met their father. He was a jolly person and he thanked everyone who saved his kingdom, but he asked no one for help now and Sluter told him that he could ask for help any time. He also appreciated his daughter for choosing such a good husband for herself, but she called him a fool. Suddenly Marmagius got warmed up and asked for Saphira's hand. The king said he was bewitched and before that, he was busy with his kingdom and didn't give any attention to his daughters. He wasn't a good father but now he'd allow them to live the life they wanted. Saphira got very happy and Haim also wanted something like that. But Saphira and Marmagius had already done the damage process. Sluter was leaving and Marmagius tried to stop him. But he appreciated his love and told him to visit home someday and told him a warm goodbye. On the other side, Vixen told the king about the failure, and she also tried to seduce him. But Marmagius's father was an intelligent man and attacked her. He told her that he'd kill anyone who would try to get in his way because it was his time. Now our man was on the bed with his cute wives, and they lusted. He was stressed because of them. Haim was jealous, and they tried to seduce him, but he said Haim was his only and true love. But the girls were crazy and didn't give him any serious concerns. They were still persistent, and he also got lusty. The rings also told him to lose his virginity. But Haim was the problem. He suddenly woke up because it was a dream. He saw Haim and asked to go out and she got the hint. He told her that they had been there since they had arrived, and he wanted to relax a little bit so they could go out. Nephrites got excited but our man broke her heart because he wanted Haim only. Saphir had no issues and the same with Granat, but this wasn't digestible for him. Now Haim was taking the bath, and she was excited about how this would happen. Our man was in an empty pocket, so he asked for money from Sage. He got excited but Satu made him understand that it was a casual outing and Sage gave him money. Haim came and Sage gave them his best wishes and our couple went out, but the other wives were peeking at them because it was Granat's plan. They started enjoying the day. But it wasn't like any date or something romantic. Haim was enjoying it because it's been a long since she had enjoyed with Satu. They went to eat, and she was staring at him with love and the other wives were still peeking that might something happen. But nothing happened. Now they went to the dating park and the girls hid when the couple came. They were too shy to see the romance. They also sat and tried to do so. But our man, again refused because it was public. Our girls got disappointed and decided that nothing would happen, so they were leaving. Satu and Haim went to get ice cream and she saw them. Now they sat and started talking. He told her because she was born there so he wanted to protect this world. He was behaving like a hero, and they had a heartful talk. It was getting darker so they were going back, and she asked if she could consider it a date. He set off course and said he wanted to make her feel special but she said she liked it but he had to give time to his other wives also. He got angry and tried to explain his love, but she was worried about others. He got serious and gave her a passionate kiss, and our girl enjoyed it. He was shocked and asked to leave but she stopped him and asked for damage. He got nervous because it was his first time. Everything was going well, and he was about to say yes but she refused. Because she was also shy and they went back. They asked Saphir to come with them, but she was refusing it because she didn't want to leave her homeland. But somehow, she agreed and said goodbye to Saphira, and she asked to protect Marmagius and they left this kingdom. While going they were talking about the Earth Princess and Satu came to know that the population Earth Princess belonged to was about extinct. He was nervous and they reached a destination, and the next journey would be by walk. What on earth happened next with our great man? Subscribe to our channel for updates.